Right, it's Jonesy, it's GundaBadBoyz. Let's see what they've got for us. It's on Death Aura again. 100 maps to choose from, but hey, Death Aura. Yeah, and it's Jonesy in the top left playing Zerg. It's GundaBadBoyz in the bottom right playing Protoss. Yes. So we saw GundaBadBoyz successfully see off Ling Rush previously and sort of tech up to carriers in a fairly uneventful way. Stay home and do nothing until you tech to carriers was what happened. Hopefully she is going to show us something a bit more beasty this time. Jonesy, what happened in Jonesy's previous games? So many games of StarCraft. What did happen? Good things? I'm going to just assume awesome stuff. So we'll see what these two players get up to. It looks like GundaBadBoyz is going to drop this pylon down at the front here. I don't mind it. I think against the Zerg I'd have gone further back for the easier wall. This is an awful lot of area to try and wall off, but I quite like a forward pylon. It's a pleasing thing. We've got the hatchery first opening from Jonesy and no sign of a pull yet, and I love that. I'm just a huge fan of that. Sometimes as Zerg I'll literally go hatchery, gas pull, just for the crack, and if you get away with it, you're so hard to beat because you've got 3 bases up and mining while your opponent's still on 1, and you can just, it doesn't really matter what you build, you can just outbuild them in every way, shape or form. So these pylons spread about the place, kind of weirdly interesting. I guess with the forge finished up, maybe we'll see some cannons strategically placed to help defend against some stuff. The gateway is very lit though, and there's a strong argument to say, while I like a forward pylon, until you've needed to build a pylon, until you were getting close to a supply block, there was really no need to spend money on that, and I'd have preferred an earlier gateway, but let's see what happens. Speed is being researched for Jonesy. The vision of the Overlord, he did see these go down, so if he clicked on them, he'll know that those are indeed cannons. Is GundaBadBoyz literally going to do this? Just wall completely with cannons here, and here, and then just 3 base it? I mean, it is possible. I don't know about building a complete wall out of cannons, but you can. Yeah, pylons are actually tougher than cannons, so have the pylon as part of the wall is the more sensible option, but it looks like that's what she's going for, and that's interesting. Now at present there's still a big hole and there are lings in production, so if these lings come across the map in short order, they are going to be able to get in, and there isn't going to be anything in the men to actually be able to see these off. So at this point, what Jonesy needs to do is play the balance. You don't want to commit all of your larvae to Zerglings in general. You want to still be trying to up your drone count as well. So is ahead in workers, but that's not because he's built a lot of workers. That's very much because GundaBadBoyz hasn't built that many. We're now at the 3.5 minute mark. There's no sign of an expo for GundaBadBoyz. Finally, this little band of lings is going to come across the map. Let's see how many there are. Not crazy numbers. So if they try and fight these cannons, they're going to lose pretty badly, because it is a lot of cannons. And unfortunately, there is a gap there. They do go for the run by, and 4 of them are going to get through. Now there's a zealot on the map. It's going to come in useful. There's no micro on the workers, so the lings will get a few kills. The zealot for some reason has turned back, and that is, if you're not going to fight with the workers, the zealot definitely needs to get involved. Come on, Gunda, pull the workers, just run at the very least. Your workers are dying, and that is extremely bad for what you want to achieve here. Dead workers don't mine nearly as effectively. Now unfortunately the lings weren't microed at all either, so the zealots just came up and killed them. There were 4 lings, so what you want to do is just be holding the shift button and just right click workers one at a time, click, and in that way the lings will ignore the zealots and kill more workers, because 4 lings aren't going to be able to fight 2 zealots at all. GundaBadBoyz in bad shape at present, having lost a significant number of workers. 13 workers dead. If nothing else, that is what is that, 650 minerals or something? Am I just making up numbers? It's quite a few, isn't it? It's a bunch of minerals to replace those, but more importantly, it's income that you don't have. So, look at the income tab, how massively skewed it is towards our Zerg player, which means that Jonesy can just power up. This wall is still incomplete, so with enough lings to run past, just as he did before, he could finish the job here. Previously it was only about 10 lings, and they ran past the cannons, and yeah, the cannons killed quite a few of them on the way past. But with more lings, the cannons kill less, because they get confused and they don't focus on the sim ling, and so the damage gets spread across them. And obviously, with more lings, more get through, even if the sim number are lost. So, Jonesy, I wouldn't hesitate to send in another wave. There's 3 zealots up, but you run past those and you do what you did before. The ideal way in general to do it, I might have mentioned this before, is you right click your lings into the middle of your opponent's mineral line. Look how lit this side core is, oh my word, 6 minutes. You right click the lings in here, and as they're running in, deselect all but about 4 of them. As they're running past and the zealots start to have a go, the 4 that you've still got control of, just click onto the ground here, and as you do that, those lings will turn around to fight the zealots. They won't win, they will lose miserably, but all they're doing is buying time for the other lings so that the zealots stop, which means that your other lings get into the mineral line and are uncontested. It looks like that's what we're going to see happening here. So the zealots with a few extra swipes take down a couple of lings as well, but despite all of that, substantial numbers of lings in this mineral line. Again, I don't fight zealots. Zealots just trade so well. Oh, that's painful, isn't it? Both zealots so close to dead, but neither of them dead. You don't want to fight the zealots. You just want to run from the zealots, basically. So, Jonesy continuing to build up. No gas here just yet, and it'd be nice to see some gas, because hydras and roaches do cost some gas. So, if you look at this, there's a big imbalance here. There's a big gas bank, but there's very little gas to be had. So can't really build stuff other than lings at present. I'd also like to see Jonesy branching out into this base, maybe this base, other bases. GundaBadBoyz, if you're not careful and you leave GundaBadBoyz to her own devices, she's going to come at you with carriers, and you're going to find you've got all sorts of problems. I think there's still a gap there, and I think there's still a gap there. But so many cannons now that pushing lings past here would be really problematic. So if you know that this is what your opponent's front door looks like, your lings have been in the whole way in. Let's just take this is what you've seen. You know that your opponent's just got no production. There's no way they can come across the map and attack you. No way at all. It's going to be a long while before they've got an army like this. So how do you react to that? They're walling in, making it hard to attack into. The way I would react to that is to just go base mad. I would have bases here and here and here and here, safe in the knowledge that my opponent isn't coming anytime soon. And then I would keep tabs. I would be using overlords, flying over their base on a regular basis, just suiciding them in if necessary, get the overlord speed, fly through the base, keep tabs, just make sure you know what they're doing, have an absurd income, have a huge bank, build one of each type of tech structure, so that when you see what your opponent is building, you can just hold down the button and crank out a 200 supply army of what kills it, march across the map and kill. Because if Jonesy's not careful here, despite just a very, very strong start, look at this army imbalance. But what good is it doing you? Despite all of this, despite the great start, if GundaBadBoyz cranks out a bunch of carriers, at present, Jonesy's in trouble. He's got a substantial, and this is a pretty substantial number. What is that? Like the best part of 20 hydras. And and those are very good. But 200 supply of carriers against 200 supply of hydras. If the hydras aren't microed, it can still get messy. If there's a mothership in the mix so that the carriers are cloaked, you don't generally fancy the hydras to win. It could be bad. So this game can slip away. Upgrades coming in as well. Are there upgrades for our Zerg player? Yes, there are. So we've got roach speed, ling speed, hydra speed, and +1 missile attack. So what you've got at present is a useful, strong army. There's various things you can do to slow your opponent down. If you're worried that actually you can't break this, it's still okay to come up here and attack these cannons. It won't be the most efficient trade ever, but your opponent is going to do what? They're most likely going to rebuild them. And bear in mind, at present, how many cannons have they got? Where's the structures tab? I can't quite remember what button I pressed to get the structures tab up. But they've spent a huge amount of money on these things. What I'd really love to see, do you know what I'd really like to see? Given that there's stuff that can give vision, and actually he's been in there, hasn't he? He's seen what the front door looks like. All of this is part of that one pylon. So I'd love to see just 4 Ravagers just run up, corrosive bars, and all of these cannons go dark. They literally all stop shooting. 4 bars onto that one pylon and just and so actually, while this looks defensively hard, you could break this so easily with one little bit of micro. Yeah, as I said, Jonesy needs to be careful. I don't think he knows for sure what's coming. He may have seen GundaBadBoyz. Other games might have. Oh, yeah, does know about Void Rays. And yeah, to be fair, I'll take Hydras over Void Rays any day of the week. Yeah. Where is the Zerg army, please? Oh, it's in the Nidus. I'm there looking at I was like staring at the mini-map for ages thinking, where is it? Did he like have a massive fight, lose his entire army, and I didn't even notice? What is happening here? No, the Nidus I absolutely love. I really want to see this Nidus pop up here and everything come out of it. At present, there are enough Hydras. This Protoss army doesn't win. So, Jonesy, you're doing all good things here, but you're not doing them fast enough. What's the hold up here? You've got the Nidus network. Why isn't it already popping out of your opponent's base here? Why isn't it here? Get on with it. What are we waiting for? There isn't going to be a better opportunity. Look, you've got the vision. You know where to put it. You can just plant it right there and have a ball. So why aren't we? I mean, the Corruptors are in position to join what comes out of the Nidus network. I think this is great. I really want to see this. I want to see it. What I really don't want to see is you just sit with 140 supply army in a Nidus network for all of this time. So that is out of range of GundaBadBoyz. She has no idea that this is coming out. Will not know until it makes the funny noise. When it makes the funny noise will be the first indication. There's the funny noise. Everything needs to unload. It needs to unload fast. It needs to unload fast. Here it comes. Stuff is going to come out. It's going to start tickling. How long before GundaBadBoyz reacts? The Hydras need to be ready to focus down these Void Rays, and they do start, and the Hydras are going to make short work of the Void Rays. But you can see the carrier interceptors messing with the Hydras' brains. The Hydras need to focus down the carriers. You need to just move forward, kill the carrier, and it's over. So the Protoss army supply vanishes. All of those cannons at the front door ultimately achieved nada. There's every type of Zerg infestation in your main base. You cannot produce stuff fast enough to deal with this. There's carriers in production. It's not going to matter. Colossus do well against Hydras. Hydras are light, but one Colossus just isn't going to beat this army at all. A little bit of micro wouldn't go astray here. Just move this stuff on down. and get into position. That's better. And just snipe this. There's no way back from here for GundaBadBoyz. Now, Jonesy, I would quite like to see stuff in production. Just because you're winning doesn't mean that you should take your finger off the button. This is an awful position. But it just doesn't matter, you know. Look at the army supplies, 100. I'd really love to see the Zerg army just focused on this one pylon. These cannons are just racking up kills left and right. You know, Jonesy, if you're not careful here, you'll lose all of this stuff when you're not looking at it, and you're not really building stuff quickly enough. The cannons are beginning to fall, but all you really needed to kill was the one pylon. The shield battery automatically repairs cannons. It doesn't automatically repair pylons. So this stuff is going to come in here and just focus this down, and once that goes down, you'd have to think that GundaBadBoyz will GG out of the game, because you know there's nothing in production, nothing that's actually going to get built. Surely these immortals aren't actually, they're going to come out. The immortals are going to come out. That's going to be funny. At least one immortal is going to come out anyway. These hydras walking through here is a bit ugly, but you know, ultimately it's not going to. What? So these hydras have just walked the whole way across the map to walk into here. Why are we running away? You've got 94 army supply against a single immortal. I don't think running away is the right thing to be doing. Please stop and shoot it. Please shoot the immortal. Please. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, you know, this is over. This pylon is finally going to go down. There we go. One cannon left. And yeah, so Gunda hanging in, but you know, it is absolutely over. There we have it. GG.